Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Robert Stickle. I'm also joined by my colleagues Robert Happy and Steve Tabaji. Robert and Steve will be today's presenters and will discuss the topic of strategic portfolio management for Biotech Pharma. This webinar is a new addition to our series of strategic portfolio management videos, so if you enjoy this webinar, feel free to watch the others we have available on our channel and look towards the next installment, which will be releasing soon. And as always, I hope that today's presentation grants you some insight into the world of project and portfolio management and gets you excited for the new developments happening within the industry and here at OnePlan. Thank you again. I'll now turn the presentation over to Robert.
Thank you, Robert. Welcome everybody to Strategic Portfolio Management for Biotech Pharma. It's all about managing your portfolio of therapeutic areas, assets, indications, development programs across functional teams. Robert Happy, very happy to be here with you today. I've been actually implementing project and portfolio management solutions for 25 plus years now in the biotech pharma space. So had the privilege of working with some wonderful companies, both Fortune 1000s and small startup companies, just people who are trying to get their first product out the door, to very large companies with a huge pipeline. The whole concept here is balancing people, process, and technologies for your portfolio and your projects, and working across the different functional areas from discovery to CMC to non-clinical, clinical, regulatory, and commercial, just to name a few, and then tying that all together and see how things are going. Steve, I want to let you introduce yourself and maybe talk to OnePlan for a second.
Sure. Thanks, Robert. Thanks for joining us, everyone. My name's Steve Tabaji. I'm a client relationship manager here at OnePlan Solutions, working with current and prospective clients to help understand their needs and bring to the table the right mix of capabilities and solutions and services to help them evolve and mature their project and portfolio management capabilities. Really exciting topic here today with Robert Happy driving the presentation and the demo here around Biotech Pharma. Real quickly, OnePlan is a Microsoft Gold certified partner. We specialize in project and portfolio management, and we've actually been named the 2022 Global Microsoft Project and Portfolio Management Partner of the Year. And that's an award that we've won 3 out of the last 4 years. We like to share that just to give you the sense for our level of experience, certifications, credentials, and customer evidence that goes into winning those types of awards. Back to you, Robert.
Thanks, Steve. Yeah, nice to know you're in good hands. We offer a one-stop shop for biotech pharma PM solutions. We offer implementation services around the technology and tools you want to implement, education and training, customer success and support. And I spend a lot of my time over here in advisory services, setting up global program management and alliance organizations, or helping to optimize organizations and people and the process and tools that are in place. Someone called me an optimization specialist the other day, and I thought that was a pretty good way of describing what I do. We also get down into the nitty-gritty and building these integrated program plans from discovery, preclinical to IND, all the way through to submission and then commercial and life cycle management. So we get in the weeds with all the functional teams and ensure that we align and set up these things properly. It's never a dull moment. It's never easy, but it's getting easier with tools like OnePlan, as you'll see today, to sort of look at your corporate goals, which come from your strategy and your mission, down to organizing your portfolio, whether it be by therapeutic area or disease area, into indications and products and programs, and going through the development process, and then in each stage trying to align these teams. I just put CMC, non-clinical, and regulatory as an example, but we know there's a lot of moving parts here, and then a lot of different tools out there. And the concept behind OnePlan is that we want to create this platform that can bring in all the data into one place to do strategic portfolio management and even execution on the project management side. But we still leave it up to you to work in tools that may be useful for you. So for example, like Project for the Web or Microsoft Project, and even Smartsheet for that matter. So we can allow the end user team members to use scheduling tools of their choice and then bring it into our platform. So I spend my life just trying to align and right size these tools and organizations to make this effective. The one thing about OnePlan that I really like is that it's very modular. So you can use the features that you want. It's got a full set of capabilities, from portfolio management to work management or task management, everything to managing timelines, all the way up to managing goals and strategic objectives. So you can just focus on the portfolio piece, and that's it. You don't have to do anything else. Or you can focus on the portfolio piece with financial planning, or you can do all of it: portfolio planning, financial planning, resource planning. You can manage, individual timelines and schedules. You can do task management, and you can even do collaboration here. And the whole concept here is that we want to create a OnePlan place where all this data is going to end up, so we can do some good stuff with it. But we still have the flexibility at the team level to allow them to use the tool of choice that they want to use, whether it be OnePlan or Project for the Web or Microsoft Project Planner, etc. So that's kind of good. Then tying your projects to your portfolio all the way back up to your corporate goals, or vice versa. Corporate goals driving your portfolio down to your projects and your tasks is no easy thing, but we've made it easy with OnePlan. You can actually do both your program and project management, and also manage your goals and key results, or your corporate goals and quarterly goals, all in one place, and then light them up in meaningful visualizations. So we can do this strategy and execution where you can organize your goals and key results, and then do the execution side here, where you're doing the, hey, what projects are we going to align that make sure we achieve those goals, and then what's our financial plan and resource plan, and all the way down to your work plans and your schedules. Or it could go the other way. So it could go this way, or it could go that way, whatever makes the most sense. I find in my experience, when the organizations that I work with, which is quite a lot, sometimes they're good at portfolio management, and sometimes we're good at timeline management, but they're quite often disparate. They're not integrated. So you might have a different leadership team doing portfolio management over here, using a different set of tools than people over here using, say, Project or Project for the Web or Smartsheet, whatever it is. And it's sometimes hard to get that data all together. And that's, I think, the beauty of OnePlan. And again, you can manage your timelines, and you'll see that we have a lot of templates and things that are ready to go for you, so you don't have to, start from scratch. And we can organize your programs by development stage or by functional teams, or do a hybrid of both where they're integrated. And again, allowing you to manage those timelines in the way that makes sense, so that your team members are using the tools of choice for them, whether it be OnePlan, Microsoft Project, or Project for the Web. And then even experience in a Microsoft Teams environment or SharePoint, or take advantage of the technologies that you've already invested in. And so this platform that we're looking at uses the latest and greatest for technology that integrates into the other key pieces that you need to work on. The other thing I like about it is that we can house and store a template library. So whether you have templates for clinical studies, CMC programs, non-clinical, etc., regulatory, and you can have a whole series of those. And even with clinical, for example, you can have a phase 1 template or a phase 2-3 template, and you can have different levels of complexity that can help us drive some of our decision making. The other thing we have is consistent status reporting. So you can do status reporting and snapshot those, so you can look at trends over time. And then, of course, we're going to see dashboards and analytics and be able to light them up. We also are going to look at our OnePlan modeler today, which is quite nice, because I know scenario analysis continues to be a big thing. So, like, for example, something as simple as, hey, what's our clinical scenario going to be for this program? And you have scenario A, scenario B, scenario C. Scenario A might be like a shorter amount of patients. Scenario 2, if we do go to 150 patients and take a slightly different approach, and so on. And then you can model that and see how it impacts your resources and your budget and so forth. So lots of good things to look at there. So you can look at resources and money and all that kind of stuff. And then, Steve, I know we do a lot of connections too. So I know organizations have a lot of different tools out there. And I think one of the benefits that we have is that our OnePlan platform has a connector tool. It's got pre-configured integrations with a lot of these tools, and we have the ability to configure that to all kinds of different things.
That's right, Robert. So we have a companion or a sister product to OnePlan called OneConnect, because we've done hundreds of integrations with clients over the years. Rather than building, one-off custom integrations every time for every client, we have built a supported connector platform called OneConnect that allows us to integrate with many other common tools. And so you'll see here in this slide a number of different type of scenarios, many of which may be applicable to our customers in biotech pharma, including perhaps integration with a CRM tool like a Salesforce or Microsoft Dynamics 365, integration with a financial tool for actuals and tracking costs like ERP, SAP, PeopleSoft, JD Edwards, what have you. And we have the ability, if we don't have a pre-built connector, to build one and then maintain those for clients going forward. So very flexible.
Yeah, that's awesome. It's not. It's just a great place to get to. Then, of course, you want to light it up with meaningful dashboards and visualization. So let's pop over into that tool now, into OnePlan. So this is the OnePlan platform, and I'm going to start with the portfolio. And one thing that we look at first is how do we want to organize your portfolio, whether it be by therapeutic area, then go into the asset molecule or compound, and then we go into the program plan. In this case, folks, program plan means indication. So we've got our therapeutic area, asset molecule, indication, and then we have our functional plans for the different functional teams. And so this is highly configurable. Of course, you can configure this any way you want. So if you have a slightly different way of organizing your portfolio, we can add different levels of depth in here as well. So then if you want to drill down into each one of these levels, I just click on this plus, and now you can see I'm at the asset molecule level, and then I drill down again. And here you can see I've got my function plan, so I might have my clinical plan, I might have my non-clinical plan, I have my, what I would call my integrated program plan that kind of takes all of these key function plans and rolls it up into here. And then you can continue to go down, and it's kind of nice because you can organize your portfolio and look at it in different ways. So if I want to change my view, I just come over here to the list option here, and maybe I want to organize it by functional plan. And I click on functional plan, and it sort of loads it up. Here's all my CMC, here's all my clinical programs. And by the way, while you're in here, you can change what you're looking at. So if I want to look at, for example, my Gantt chart, I just click on Gantt, and it pulls up my Gantt chart so I can see how things are organized. And of course, I can filter. So if I just want to look at, for example, if I just want to look at, my dev stage, my phase 2 stuff, I can. Or if I want to look at, my functional, maybe I just want to look at my clinical stuff. So I just click on clinical, and I can see my clinical. So you can do some great things in here and look at it in different ways. And the good news is these are all configurable. And if you get to a point, if you make one, you can add columns, you can, add different fields. And then at some point you might want to say, you know what, I'm going to save that view because this is good for our team, and click on Save View. And I like what I like about this is you can save it for everybody to see, or in many places in here, you can just save a personal view. So later on, when we create a scenario plan, maybe you just want to look at it yourself and just make it personal for you. And then, you can always share it later. So you can do that in a lot of different places. So you can configure and customize this to meet your needs. The other thing that's nice about this is we can look at roadmaps. So we go into roadmap, for example, and I can look at my roadmap, and I can change the parameters to look at it by month, by year. I can look at it over multiple years, or maybe I just want to look at 2023, or you want to look at a 4-year horizon or an 18-month, whatever works best for you. And here you can see you've got it organized by therapeutic area, and then you can have these rolled up milestones coming in so that, one of them could represent first patient in, or as you hover over it, it tells you exactly what it is, all the way down to maybe your CSR complete, for example, on a clinical or a submission. And so it's kind of nice to see this, or you can, configure this to whatever you need to. So I can look at it by business unit as well. Or sorry, I meant to click on dev stage. So it's kind of nice to come in here and say, look, here we are. Here's what we have in our discovery pipeline. Here's what's in our phase 1, phase 2, and phase 3, etc. So the roadmap really puts you in the driver's seat. And you can see this is like a 2-3 year view of the next 3 years of what's happening for us in our program. So I really like that ability to change that view, and so gives you the flexibility to configure it, and a very highly configurable tool. From here, if I drill in, just quickly go into programs here. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about scheduling capabilities. You can look at the details of a program, and then we have our timeline over here. We can look at your schedule. And in this case, you're going to see that we've got it organized by, we've got this hybrid where you have, hey, these are all my development stages. These are all my clinical plan, like my functional areas, and you can see the details of, say, clinical, and you have all your studies in here. Again, you can light this up in a Gantt chart view if you want, just by clicking on Gantt. You can filter out whatever you need to. So you got all the power and flexibility to do those kinds of things. OnePlan itself does some basic scheduling where you can, do indenting, outdenting, some linking. But a lot of our clients like to use different tools for that. So for example, we have connectors so we can connect to Project for the Web or Project Professional. And it's got a synchronization. So as people manage their projects in Project Professional, it synchronizes back to OnePlan or even Project for the Web or other things like Planner, etc. So it's kind of nice to be able to have that flexibility to use those types of tools. And those are built-in integrators. So if you look down here, like I just added this today, but we can also come in here. And the other thing I like about this is like you can insert templates. So if you're building a plan and I want to insert a clinical study, I can. So you can actually build your plans inside OnePlan and then start from there, or you can start from Microsoft Project, whatever you need. Or say I insert the clinical study template and you can put it at the end of the project, you can eject it anywhere. When you do that, it puts it into the program plan, and then you can start scheduling away and putting all the things that you need to put in there. For example, we have our tox material development, our tox batch release, and in this case, I've even put in a risk item, CMO delays in manufacturing. So not only can you manage detailed schedules, but you can also manage risks, issues, changes, and key decisions. So here, just in the risk log, I can manage my risk. And again, folks, it's a nice place, one-stop shopping for scheduling, risk management, issues, decisions, changes, and these are all configurable. So this is just one way of doing risk management, for example, with status, health status. You can put impact times probability and quantify. You can add in the columns that you need to do risk management your way. So this one here is the one that we link to the schedule. So item is scheduled, so you can actually link it directly in the schedule. So lots of great capabilities in here. I would say to do risks and issues and schedules. There's collaboration to submit requests and those kind of things for updates, and you can also do master plans where you can integrate sub plans and link across projects or link from projects up to our key milestones area, so that when somebody updates something in Microsoft Project, it automatically gets updated everywhere else it needs to get updated. There's so much more to talk about in this space, but because we're here for strategic portfolio management, I just wanted to give you kind of a quick overview. You can still do all your filtering. You can have different views in here, and all this great stuff. But for us, I'm going to stay focused on the portfolio piece and get back into not just the ability to look at your portfolio, but I want to also talk about being able to do some strategic portfolio management. So I'm going to flip over to our portfolio prioritization page here, or view. Sorry, it's a custom view. And I've just got this lighting up all of our programs. So you can do this by functional area, you can do it by program, you can even do it at the therapeutic area. And some of the secret sauce that we have in here is our ability to put in what we call our business drivers. So for example, one business driver might be medical need, or scientific feasibility, or clinical feasibility, or innovation opportunities. And then, so these are all configurable. So you want to know what your business drivers are. They're usually a derivative of your strategies and what you're trying to accomplish. And then you come in here and you can give them values. And you give them values just by choosing extreme. You can choose strong, moderate, low. And as you change those values, you'll notice your prioritization scores changes over here. So if I come to this one, I say, you know what, it's not really extreme, it's really just more moderate. And you can see that the calculation of your scores are going to change. Excuse me. So the idea here is that it gives you more of an objective way to rank your projects and give it a prioritization score. So it kind of takes the subjectivity out of looking at your programs. And by the way, these can be clinical studies. This can be your assets and indications, or your compounds, or it could be your therapeutic areas. You can do this at any level within the tool. The other thing we have is, we do have a prioritization tool you can turn on. And over here, you can rank your projects in order of priority. And typically it's based on your prioritization score, but it's not always the case. You might have a project that has a less prioritization score, it might be higher priority right now, so you can move it up in the prioritization list. So one of the nice things that we've added to our solution here is our modeler. So when I want to start doing some modeling or what if scenario planning, we have this module down here called our modeler. And I'll come down here now, and I can take that list of programs or projects and start doing some strategic prioritization and what if scenarios. So here you can see I've got one for clinical scenarios we can look at, one for program strategy prioritization. So we click on that. You see you've got that sheet, and you can see the list of our projects in order of priority. And at top here you can see our budget or our benefits that we're going to get. See, look, we don't have $6 million to spend, so maybe we start thinking we don't do this lowest priority project, or we don't, and you start moving projects in or out, and you can see how it impacts your budget across the top here. That's kind of the simple thing to do. We also have the ability to look at financial constraints. So while you're doing that, and you can also light up your Gantt chart in here too, folks, so you can see how things kind of lay out over the land. So if we're looking at like our 2023 plans right here, minus that one more time. So you look at our 2023 plans, and you can look at our 2023 budget, and you can see we have some red, and then you can continue modeling a bit. It's like, you know what, we still got to shave off a project or two. And I could say, maybe this one, maybe we take out this one. We have to do 20, but maybe this one comes out. And you can see the impact, and it recalculates the impact those kinds of things have on your budget. You can also put in different targets. So like if I want to make my budget $5 million or $50 million or $100 million, and all these costs come up. And you can look at budget, you can look at benefits, you can look at all kinds of different things. The other thing I really like about this is in real time, up here, I can say, what if I push this project out into next year, right? And just move that out, and then have it recalculate things, or you can move it earlier, back and forth. So you can move these things around and see how it impacts the calculation of your, not only your finances, you can also do the same thing with your people. So I can look at my resources, and we can have our resources set up either by generic resources or named resources, or a combination of both. So you can do a hybrid of both. And then you can look at, oh, look, I still got some red here. Maybe I need to move another project out, and I unclick that, and it recalculates your heat map for this. And you can look at your resources in hours, percent complete, comma, or FTE. And then when you get a model that you think, hey, this could work, you can actually look at different views in here. So I can see, what we call capacity versus availability. So, this is my demand down below and my capacity up here. So you can see we have plenty of places to look at. So it's kind of nice to be able to look at your resource constraints and your financial constraints. And we even have the ability to do different kinds of charts. Like I can create a bubble chart to help with some of your strategic decision making. And maybe I want to look at my strategic prioritization. So here you can see the bottom part has the side part has our benefits, and the bottom part has our budget, and this bubble represents our prioritization score. For me, the prioritization score represents the strategic value, how it aligns strategically to our organization. So you can look at bubble charts and maybe help make some better decisions. Depends on how you like to visualize things. So all that flexibility is in here. And then when you get to a scenario you like, you can save it. I can save this scenario and say, oh, this is my 2023 budget. This is my 2023 resource plan scenario. You can save it as a personal scenario, or you can save it to share with everybody. So lots of good opportunities inside this modeler to do these kind of modeling tools, modeling what if scenarios, even if you just want to straight out just try and prioritize things. So that's the modeler. From there, I want to take us into our strategy model, our strategy component. This is really useful in the sense that prior to this, we used to have to do our objectives and key results in Excel or some other tool that we're managing them. But here we have all of our projects in the portfolio all in one place. And now we can do our strategic management of our corporate goals or our objectives and key results. So for example, if I look at this objective, commercial launch or BLA submission, and I click on this, and you can see, oh, these are all the key results that are going. And of course, these are all configurable, right? So we can have different views to look at. And if you want to click on the BLA submission, for example, you can see that when I click on it, it's going to bring up some details of this product, right? Which is kind of nice. And you can see you can add it. And these are all configurable and customizable. So whatever metadata you need to build into your objectives planning, you can. Or if I go back to my main sheet here, I look at the key results here, and I click on some details here. I can look at my runway, for example, and this can be very useful because it kind of tells you, here's my objective, here are the key results that I'm looking for, and here are the plans that are supporting that. And you can see that one in the middle here there's really no action being taken to achieve that goal. So it gives you an idea of whether you have a good plan in place to achieve your objectives and key results. So it's nice to be able to have that flexibility to come in here, manage your portfolio, go to your strategy, and you can tie your strategy into your projects. So as you set that up, you can say what project it, and you can look at the different details of each one. So the strategy part is really twofold. You have the ability to manage your objectives and key results, and then you have the ability to tie them into your portfolio. And then you can look at your portfolio in a lot of different ways. So I can look at it by function or portfolio summary, like we looked at. And so everything's kind of all in one place for that. So that kind of takes me to what I really wanted to talk about today. And there's a couple of other things that are important for us in here as well. But those are some of the main strategic points, except for this one here, the resource plan. You can do project level resource planning or program level resource planning, where you build in models like every time I start a clinical study, we need this many resources and so forth. So you can do it by generic resource and or named resource. And you can look, again, you can look at this by hours, you can look at it by percent allocation or FTEs. And then you can actually start doing some true resource management in here, where like maybe I've got this generic CMC manager, but we've kind of activated this project, right? I've activated this project and I want to find the best available resources to work on that project. I say, look at, I think Jane's available to work on this. You can kind of see what she's working on now, or Diane. So these are the best availables that have that role that I need a CMC manager for. And then you can click on replace. And it's basically going to move that project down into Jane's portfolio now. So now she's been assigned to that particular project. So it's kind of nice to be able to do these types of things. And then you can look at graphs and charts and all kinds of things in here as well. But this is where you do your planning at the project or program level and make decisions at that level. You could also do your resource planning at the task level if you want. So you choose which level is best for you. And then you can sort of move from there. One of the things is once you get all this data in one place, we can start using our visualization tools, like our dashboarding tools. And Steve, we offer these report packs part of the package, right?
That's right. There's a number of out-of-the-box reports that come with OnePlan. They're delivered through Microsoft Power BI, which is the Microsoft toolkit for reports and dashboards. And so we not only provide these out-of-the-box reports to clients, but we also give them the source files so that many times they can use these as templates and then really be able to modify them either with or without our assistance. They can do so on their own.
Yeah, and that's a huge advantage because a lot of this, sometimes these reports can take a while to build. So having a good starting point is a quicker way for you to get up and running fast and get to the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, I say, is these dashboard types reports to visualize results, and they're somewhat interactive too. So if you click on show me my high ones, it kind of changes how you look at things. You can also have, hey, just show me all the things by business unit, for example. So you can have slices and dices across the top. You can look at objectives, progress. You can look at business unit status, key results program. And again, each one of these, typically comes with ability to slice by stage, by business unit, etc. Same thing in the portfolio, folks. We have a dashboard pack here as well. This is a bit more robust, Steve, wouldn't you say? It looks like there's quite a few in here.
There's a lot more here. So that with the portfolio views and reports here, we have the ability not only to drill through from portfolios to programs, or from what you would call therapeutic areas, perhaps, or
Yep.
whatever the way the top level of your hierarchy might be, you can drill through from that level then into the programs themselves. People that are familiar with Power BI know that you can click on a pie slice inside the chart, and it'll go ahead and it'll filter the other visualizations and the table below on the fly there for you. And then you can continue to drill through all the way down to the individual program details or projects, or however you want to categorize your work.
Yeah, and so this would be a dashboard for one particular program. And you can, again, this is, if you're not tracking financials, then you don't have to worry about those kind of things, but you can add in different pieces. The other thing you can look at too, besides costs and resources, is risks. So you can have a risk visualization tool, so you can look at all your risks across all your programs. Same concept, you can look at it by program up here, filter, so just show me all the things by program, or you can look at all of them. And again, if you just click on any one of these, you can drill into it. Same thing with issues. So you have that capability. Then we have things like health summary, you have your timeline view, your schedule summary, financials, and so forth. So it's kind of nice. And if I'm back in the program details, you can go up here. There's some additional buttons. I can look at trends. I can look at financials. I can look at execution. So this tells me my completed milestones, my upcoming milestones, my overdue tasks, and then down here, risks and issues, changes. You can add decisions if you want. So very nice to be able to look at this. And a lot of times we just point people to these reports, and that's where they consume the information.
Yeah, Robert, it's also worth noting that people can access these reports directly through Power BI as well. So many of our clients will choose perhaps to just provide Power BI access to executives who maybe don't need to be inside of OnePlan, but want to be able to view things like status reports or portfolio level milestone reports. We also do have a status report module. I wasn't sure if you were going to jump into that at all, but we have a built-in status report capability. And with Power BI, as people may know, you can easily set up subscriptions. So for example, you could set it up that every Friday at 4 p.m. status report for program A gets sent to these three stakeholders.
Right. That's this module right here. So yeah, you can set that up. I think the other nice thing, I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but you have this home page that looks at insights for the user that's coming in here. So this, for example, is for me. I've got one overdue task. I've got something out of compliance. I've got some things that are coming up. I've got a conversation. I got a note from Eric saying that, hey, where's the talks reports? These are all the programs. And by the way, I can drill into these right from here. And then, things that are due soon. So I think this uses a little bit of artificial intelligence and crawls across the data and tries to paint a nice picture for my world in here. The other thing, again, there's other modules like my work. So this is down, now we're getting down into the team level, far removed from setting your strategic goals, but it's nice to see that you can tie your strategic goals to your projects and portfolio into, hey, this is what I should be working on today. So how do you answer that question? What am I going to work on today? And how do I make sure I'm strategically aligned up and down the organization? This sort of answers that question for you. So Steve, those are the main things that I wanted to talk about today. I think next steps, We offer what we call strategic portfolio and project management envisioning workshops, where we review your current state of SPM and PM, assess your key challenges and gaps and desired future state. We come up with a prioritized roadmap for short term, medium and long, and that could mean different things to different people. Like short term might be, hey, within the next 2 quarters, and medium term might be within the next quarter, and long term might be far. So you can sort of define what that looks like, and or we can just set up a more tailored, deeper dive demonstration to meet your needs. Right, Steve?
Absolutely. Yep.
So we wanted to give you a quick overview of some of the capabilities within here. We'd like to take deeper dives with you on your journey when it comes to strategic portfolio management and project management in the biotech pharma space. So Steve and I are here for you, so feel free to reach out, email anytime, call anytime. Steve, same with Steve, reach out to him anytime, and we can just set up some meaningful conversations and explore a fit between what you're doing and what we can do for you.
Yeah, in addition to the workshops and the demos that we mentioned, Robert, we also do offer free trials of OnePlan. So if anyone on this webinar or listening to the recording is interested in playing around in a sandbox, we can work with you to get that provisioned very quickly, and you can start to test it out and play around with it. And we're happy to support you during that process.
Right. On that note, I would really like to thank you for your time and hope you have a great rest of the day.